Great, we are live. What is up? What is up, everyone? Today I am going to do a quick stream on one of my favorite books, and I would have to say it might be the best self-help book ever. And I don't say that lightly because I've read a ton of self-help books. I mean, they're very easy to read, and one thing you'll learn from self-help books is that they all say the same thing, and basically it all comes down to what you're telling yourself, the ideas you hold, and if you don't like who you are, then you can change that. And I think the best example of this idea is through Psycho-Cybernetics. I think if you read this one book, you don't need to read any other self-help book. And with that said, let us get into the video. Of course. Okay.
People prone to success and others prone to failure.
It feels
Question changed the life of Maxwell Maltz, initially a famous cosmetic surgeon, forever. It may seem strange, but he found a strong connection
so the genesis of this book, the idea behind this book, Psycho-Cybernetics, is there is more to success than just your attributes. There is a certain amount of intangibles, there's a certain amount of how we carry ourselves that affects the world. And Dr. Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon who basically discovered that the physical alterations weren't the greatest changes to his patients. It was the mental altercations. It was how these people had a change in how they viewed themselves. And because of this change, their lives got better. And he set out to describe this phenomenon. He set out to describe this idea. And in psycho-cybernetics, there is a ton of things, but just understand the general basis because everything else springs off of that. What's up, Ashley? How's it going?
between cosmetic surgery and personal development.
My
Maltz
number one
realized that
fans
surgery
here.
alone didn't always make his patients feel better. Some people regained confidence quickly after the surgery, and thus became more successful in their lives, while others didn't see any improvement at all, even though the surgery was successful. This made him understand that how we see ourselves, our self-image, plays
So think of your self-image as what people have told you and what you think about yourself. And oftentimes how we view ourselves is much worse than how we actually are. Like it's much easier to bring yourself down because you're with yourself all day. So think about it this way, like if you spend all day every day understanding every thought you have,
a
then
vital role in building
you understand everything about yourself. But when you look to someone else, when you look to your peers, when you look to people who are doing better than you only see the perfect version of themselves. You only see what they allow the world to see. And thus we're judging ourselves on an unfair scale. And thus we're judging ourselves based off a fraction of the data and only the good data. We only see the good things others do. We only see their accomplishments. We don't see their failures. We don't see their struggles. We don't see the things dragging them down. And when we give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, when we say like, you know what? I'm going to stop being so negative. You know what? I'm going to stop denying myself the ability to grow. I'm going to stop denying the ability for myself to change and to change for the better. That's when everything changes. That's when everything becomes different. That's when you become someone that is capable of much more. Before you can create something, before you can do something, it must first be thought of. Try to name one thing that was not first thought of before created. I will wait and I will wait to the rest of the night because that is the simple reality of things. What's up, Environment? How's everything, man?
self-confidence. It can either bring us down or lift us up in all fields of our lives. Yes, it can even make money, a lot of it. It's our decision. After going deep into psychology and research, Dr. Maxwell Maltz wrote his masterpiece, Psycho-Cybernetics.
It really is one of the best self-help books ever. If you haven't read this one, I think if you're interested in the genre, this is something you really should pick up because i- it's it's almost similar to How to Win Friends and Influence People and how simple it is, yet how effective it is. And anytime you can say that is very high praise, and anytime you can say that it's something you should look into for the sake of yourself.
A new way to get more living out of life. The book explains how thinking of the human mind as a machine can help improve your self-image, which will dramatically increase your success and happiness. Whether you're a 15-year-old high schooler who struggles with beating themselves up, a 35-year-old mother of three who considers herself a failure,
So the best explanation for this idea is think about it in the manner of confidence. If you walk into the room and you're extremely confident, even if you're saying nonsense, even if you're a complete idiot, people are going to trust you that much more simply because of the air that you carry with you. Most of communication is nonverbal, most of it is cues, most of it is body language, and the inflection and the tone and all of these things go to determine what levels of success we have. So if you walk into a room with poor posture, if you walk into a room and you're scared, if you walk into a room and you don't think you're going to do something, everyone else can sense that. And that is our biggest enemy. Our biggest enemy is the way we control ourselves, the way we can control our own lives by bringing ourselves down. Like I live by this and I try to embrace this idea every day. I don't believe in anything that doesn't benefit me. What's the point in me believing in something that brings me down? What's the point in me believing in a limiting belief? What's the point? Because even if I fall short of how good I think I can be, I'm still going to end up better than if I didn't even try. I'm still going to end up better if I didn't believe I could even do anything. So why even put any effort? And this is really the genesis of this entire book. This is really the entire idea. It's like there are so many things that we are denying ourselves from simply because we don't believe we're good enough. When we flip the script, when we start seeing things in a different manner, when we start looking at things from a different perspective, then everything changes. That's literally all therapy is. Therapy is a therapist helps you understand your trauma, understand your issues in a different context so that you can overcome it. It's the same thing we can do with ourselves. We can analyze every thought, every emotion, every time we fail. We can analyze why we failed. We can analyze why we discourage ourselves. We can analyze all these things and understand that if you are your own cheerleader, you're gonna go so much farther than everyone else in the world. It's simply that.
or someone needing a mental boost and a fresh start. This book is for you, and watching this video will spare you hours of reading and killing your brain cells. And before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. It helps the YouTube algorithm to push my videos to more people, so here we go. What is your story? Most importantly, is it a happy one or a tragedy? Are you a winner in it or a loser? Are you the hero, villain, or the
How do you define yourself? What labels do you put on yourself? Do you think you're successful? Do you think you're a failure? Do you think you're a loser? Do you think you're dumb? Do you think any of these things? Because if you think any of these things, then guess what? You're going to solidify that. You're going to carry that into everything. When was the last time you didn't believe in yourself and you were able to accomplish anything? And I'm not saying it in any way determines your skill. You could be the greatest at one thing, but when the moment comes, you fail because you don't believe in yourself. Think of great fighters. There's all of these countless stories of fighters that are tremendous when it comes to training, tremendous when it comes to the gym, but the moment the lights are brightest, they fail. And it's because they don't have faith in themselves. When there's no pressure, when they don't build things up, they're fine. They're great. They're even world champion caliber. But the moment they get into the octagon, the moment that the crowd is cheering, they freeze. And this is what we all do to varying degrees with our own lives, with our own existences.
victim? Surprisingly, it's your choice. Because you are the writer, and the only reader is you also. The way we see ourselves is based on our beliefs, which come from our past experiences. We don't question these beliefs, but instead we constantly act in ways that confirm them, whether they're true or false. Having a positive self-image is the key
Think about it this way. Who you believe you are is shaped by your experience, but it's shaped by how you're viewing the experience. It's shaped by the things that you're focusing on. Like, I'm probably sure you failed a million times, but I'm probably sure there's a lot of great moments in there. And if you focused on the triumphs, and you focused on the things that went right, and you focused on your ability to persevere in key moments, you would have so much more faith in yourself, and this faith would carry you more than anything. This is the strongest force that exists in humanity. The idea of faith, the idea of belief, the idea of hope. Think of the greatest acts of humanity. They've always been motivated by this force. And you have the ability to use it and channel it to control your own life, to make your own life better.
to living a better life, and there are two important discoveries about it. 1. Everything we do, feel, and how we behave depends on our self-image or the story we tell ourselves about ourselves. 2. It's possible to change our self-image no matter our age. It's never too early or too late to start anew. The secret is, our self-image should be a realistic
Think of think of like football players or basketball players or athletes in general. They're at their peak when they're young, And then by the time they're old, they've had to humble themselves. By the time they're old, they understand that they're not invincible anymore. Yet, you talk to that 25-year-old athlete, they think they can do no wrong. They think that the world is at their fingertips. And it's very sad to see some of the athletes that never get the same level of success after sports, but it's because their self-image was so heavily inflated by their ability to put a ball in a hoop that nothing else can compare. And this is proof of both the positive enforcements and the negative enforcements. No matter how high you go, you will always come down. And it's always the story we tell that determines how we accept it. It's always the story we tell ourselves that means more than the actual event. Attitudes are more important than facts, as William James said. Attitudes are more important than facts. What happens to you doesn't matter as much as what you tell yourself, as what you internalize, as what you take away, as what you choose to focus on. If you failed 1,000 times, did you see it as failure or did you see it as a stepping stone? Because that's what Thomas Edison did. And in fact, he didn't fail 1,000 times, he failed 10,000 times. And that's exactly how he framed it in his mind, and that's exactly what led him to the one of the greatest discoveries in human history.
Reflection of who we truly are, neither exaggerating nor underestimating ourselves. Let me share a relatable story the author tells about a man who felt insecure about how he looked. We've all experienced that feeling at some point, right? Well, this man took it to another level. Instead of seeing his insecurity as something temporary or not that important, he believed that being ugly was just a part of who he was. And because he couldn't move past his negative feelings about his appearance, he thought that everyone else saw him the same way. He saw every interaction and life.
Nobody cares as much about you as you think they do. If you think someone's paying attention to everything you do, guess what? The only person that's paying attention to everything you do is you. People may notice a few things, but they're not over your shoulder. They're not God. They're not your internal conscious. They're not something that understands you. And you must understand that if someone saw every experience in your shoes, they would be on your side. Because they don't, they will judge you. It's okay. People are gonna judge you. Even Jesus had haters. Like it's very, very easy to get sad. It's very, very easy to get depressed when people don't love you instantly. But the truth is, for you to have people that love you, you have to have people that hate you. Because it's the polarity that makes anything fun. If you're a middle of the road person, nobody has too strong feelings about you. Well, guess what? You're not going to experience the depths of love. And you're not going to experience the shallowness of hatred. So, yeah.
Experience through the lens of people must be judging me because I'm ugly. But here's the thing. It became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Actually, most people didn't pay much attention to his looks or consider him ugly. But because he expected rejection, he was always on edge and not pleasant to be around. People responded to his unpleasant behavior, not his looks. Sadly,
Buddha said all suffering comes from desire. So yes, it's a very profound
he didn't
analysis.
realize this important distinction. So he kept going through life feeling sad and misunderstood, stuck in a never-ending cycle. If you believe you're unlucky, unlovable, or untalented, it's important to realize that these negative beliefs are not true. You can break free from them. The author suggests that rational thinking has the power to liberate you from
So what you choose to focus on, you will see. Robert Anton Wilson is the best saying about this. What the thinker thinks, the prover proves. What you think is true about yourself, your mind will bend over backwards to see the data to confirm this. The easiest way to think of this is confirmation biased, or how symbols and semantics shape our own subjective reality.
negative thoughts. The first step is to understand that what you believe about yourself is based on feelings rather than facts. For example, a fact could be that you asked someone out on a date and they turned you down, which made you feel sad. But then you might have a thought or feeling like, no one will ever want to go out with me. I'm ugly and unlovable. The key is to recognize that this second thought is just a feeling, not a fact. It's temporary and should not define who you are. Instead, accept that it's a passing feeling that doesn't reflect your true identity. How to write a better story.
Emerson said, in every opportunity, there's both equal parts good and equal parts bad. And if that's something you can understand through every experience, then you're going to do great things in this world.
To challenge and eliminate our beliefs, we simply need to ask ourselves some important questions. Start by asking why. Why do we believe that we can't do something? Then, question whether this story we tell ourselves is based on actual facts, or if it's just an assumption or a tragic novel that we were the author of. Next, ask yourself the following. Is there a logical reason to support this story? Could it be possible that I'm mistaken in holding on to this belief? Would I reach the same conclusion about someone else in a similar situation? Why should I continue to act and feel as if this story is true if there's no valid reason to believe it?
So you can break it down this way, or you can simply just understand, as Seneca said, we suffer more in our own minds than we do in reality. What we see is always worse than what it is. Think of how many problems you dwell on. Think of how many things you worry about on a daily basis that never appear, that never actualize. And this is exactly what they're talking about here. Is it really a problem, or is it ourselves just wanting to be stressed out? Is ourselves being addicted to stress, addicted to negative feelings, addicted to all these things? Because your emotions are going to get expressed one way or another, and it's either going to be with positive emotions or negative emotions. And for most people, they've lived in negative emotions, they've dwelt in negative emotions, so it's all they know. But you need to break the habit. You need to break the spell. You need to break the trance.
Always return to the source. Is this belief rooted in real facts, or is it based on assumptions and false conclusions? Now that we've covered the basics of self-esteem and how it works, let's delve into the author's theory. What is psycho-cybernetics? Simply put, psycho-cybernetics sees the human brain as a computer and self-esteem as its software. The term combines psychology, the study of the mind, with cybernetics, the study of machines. Essentially,
Think of
psycho-cybernetics explores how our minds function like
think of just reprogramming your brain.
machines. According to the author, if we can program our thoughts or reset our self-esteem, we can create a better and happier life. Let's take happiness as an example. Regardless of our differences, everyone wants to be happy. However, we often have misconceptions about happiness. We tend to believe that it's either a constant state of being or a result of specific events. For instance, we may think that if we achieve a promotion, we'll enter a state of everlasting
Happiness is a choice. You can always choose to be happy, but most people choose to be sad. Think about it this way, like happiness is absence of your problems, but you can't be absent of your problems without you forgetting about them, without you understanding that your problems aren't in front of you right now, so all you have to do is live. And if you live, you'll be happy. If you live stress-free, that's joy, that's happiness, that's elevation, that's enlightenment. That's everything that you're looking for. It's like most of us are still children psychologically. Yes. Most of us, see the thing about our maturity is that most people aren't willing to look in the mirror and analyze themselves. They're more willing to point the finger and say, I'm this way because of this person. I'm this way because of this person. Maybe it's the truth. Maybe it is. But that doesn't mean you have to continue to live that way. That doesn't mean you have to continue to allow people to harm you. Like the harm's already done. You can either linger on it and stay the same, or you can move on and forget that person. Because I mean, a relationship's never over until there's indifference. Until you forgive that other person, until you get past the past feelings, there's still a chance that that relationship can be rekindled. But it's indifference that kills relationships. It's not hate. Hate is the same thing as love. Lingering on anything is the same thing as wishing it is still in your life.
happiness, free from worries. We assume that more money and
Children have
career
the most
satisfaction will make us
awareness.
happy. And if we're happy in every aspect of life, we won't feel sad anymore.
Like it's a weird thing that children can always insult you in a way that hurts more than any swear word, any curse word can do. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but like children have a great way of resetting our egos every time.
But these beliefs aren't true.
They always call
While
me
certain events
Baldy.
can bring temporary pleasure, relying on circumstances for lasting happiness is futile. Circumstances only offer fleeting cycles of pleasure and pain. If we chase after one experience after another, hoping it will fill the void in our hearts, we'll end up in an endless and
The
pointless loop.
external
Similarly,
circumstances do not
happiness is a state
matter.
of mind, but it doesn't mean being completely free from sadness or seeking constant bliss.
If you can't be happy right now, you'll never be able to be happy. The circumstances will continue to get better, it'll continue to get worse. But if you can't find happiness in this moment, you never will. Because no amount of material success, no amount of fulfillment, no amount of anything can give you what you need, which is pure acceptance of yourself, pure presence of mind, stopping to forget about your worries.
That's unrealistic. Instead, we should understand that happiness is a choice. We can't control external circumstances, but we can control our response to them. Choosing happiness is the most important decision we can make. By seeking the positive in every situation, finding contentment with what we have, and embracing joy, we can enhance our quality of life.
The greatest way to
Marx
find
shares a powerful
happiness is
quote
to
about happiness
express
by writing,
gratitude.
"If you are to be happy at all, you must be happy, period. Not happy because of." What's the
Yes.
secret to success? Imagination is a powerful key to achieving success. We often underestimate its significance in our lives. It influences every action
Everything
we
that has been
take. Our
created
actions and
was
emotions are
first
not determined by
imagined.
sheer willpower, but by what we imagine to be true about ourselves and the world around us. Our mind creates images that shape how we act and feel. Understanding this gives us the
Think about it this way. If you believe yourself to be capable, if you visualize yourself already doing it, that's the first step. The hardest step in creating anything is believing that you're worthy. And this is why imagination is so powerful, because it can get beyond our experience. It can get beyond what we know and almost give us a glimpse into what we have to do to create that idea. And the truth about imagination is if we spent all day, every day, staring at a wall, whatever it is that we're trying to do, we would be able to do. It's just that we don't spend enough time with ourselves. We don't spend enough time with these ideas. We don't think hardly and deeply. Like if you want to understand the secret of Nikola Tesla and the understanding of, you know, Einstein, it's simply that these dudes were able to be bored and able to use this boredom for great curiosity. Einstein literally discovered the special theory of relativity, popping bubbles in a bubble bath. Okay? Like it's purely through our creative faculties that we can do the greatest work. Yet most people deny it because it's not something that can be traced. It's not something that can be quantified. It's not something that can ever quite be understood by the rational mind. And if it's not understood by the rational mind, then it's dismissed nowadays.
power to change who we are. Why not imagine ourselves as successful individuals? Recognizing that our beliefs and images shape our personality provides a valuable tool for psychology to transform
Yeah,
ourselves.
that
It
was
opens up
me
new
at the gym
possibilities for
today.
developing skills, achieving success, and finding happiness. Mental pictures give us a chance to practice new behaviors and attitudes that we couldn't
Handy
otherwise
living.
do.
Dude, I mean that's literally the whole point of Walden. It's like when you live off the grid, when you live away from people, you can get away from people's bullshit. You can get away from people's worrying. Because most of our worrying is from other people's worrying. Most of our worrying comes from somebody saying, "Whoa, I got this job," or "Whoa, this is happening to me." Oh, like how many how many stressful moments have you experienced just eavesdropping on a conversation and hearing how good someone else is doing and you're not? To me, that's like one of the worst things that I can do. Like when I stick to myself, I can be happy. When I get involved in all of the drama, when I get involved in all these conversations, when I get involved in all these nonsense political things or this or that, like that's when I'm the least happy. And there really is something to be said about living off the grid, about not necessarily isolating yourself for the sake of isolation, for the sake of being a hermit, but isolating yourself for the sake of happiness, for the sake of peace, and only allowing people to be in your life that really matter to you, only allowing people in your life that bring you up. I think that's really the end goal of what we should experience.
Surprisingly, our nervous system can't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual ones. So, by visualizing ourselves performing in a certain way, it's almost like we are actually doing it.
This is
Mental practice
basically
contributes
this is basically Neville Goddard's whole idea. If you fall asleep with the idea of the wish fulfilled, with the idea of living in the end, with feeling like you've already accomplished it, you trick your brain into believing that you've already done it. And if you've already done it, then that means you can start to think and act like someone who's done it. And guess what? If Bezos lost all of his money today, I'm sure give him enough time, he'll make it back. He'll do something. He'll create something. And that's really the important element of it. It's like it means nothing for you to win the lottery. What means much more is for you to work, to grind, to, put your blood, sweat, and tears into something and develop something that you had to try and fail and fail and fail and fail until you actually won. Because it's gonna mean so much more when you have that experience versus when you just scratch off and you win. And now you don't have to work. And now you're bored. And now you have this, and now you have that. Humans seek fulfillment through work. Humans seek fulfillment through hard tasks. And no wonder so many people are unhappy. It's because we don't have hard tasks. We don't have challenge. We don't have difficulty. We don't have things that we actually have to face. We have minor issues. We have social problems. We have all these dumb things that really don't matter in the grand scheme of things.
to improvement and perfection. Success has been a puzzle. We've all wondered about it at some point. Whether it's acing a test, having a successful relationship, or thriving in our careers, we all want to know how to achieve success. We often believe that only certain people have the key to success, thinking they are more talented, luckier, or more likely to get what they want. But here's the truth. Success is not something that only happens to a select few. It's a
Emerson said history belongs to all men, meaning that if someone else did it, you can do it as well. If someone was capable of doing it, that means you can do it, if not better. Because human progression is someone does something and then someone does it better. That's how the human race works. That's how it will always work. So be inspired when someone does something because that means you can do it as well. That means it is now possible for you to take a certain set of actions, follow what this person did, and exceed their wildest dreams. Exceed their ultimate triumph because that's what you can do.
Potential that resides within all of us. We just need to know how to unlock it. That's where the author's acronym, SUCCESS, comes in. Let's explore its meaning. The first S stands for sense of direction. Having a clear sense of purpose is vital because it gives us direction and meaning in life. Without a goal to pursue, we may feel lost and purposeless. So the first step is to find your sense of direction and let it guide your path. The U represents understanding. Understanding is essential for success as it enables us to connect with others. It allows us to empathize, see different perspectives, and become better communicators, partners, employees, and friends. Understanding also brings personal clarity and peace of mind. Misunderstandings often cause stress and anxiety, so cultivating understanding helps us navigate life with more tranquility. Next is C for courage. To succeed in any area,
Courage is perhaps the most important. I've seen a ton of people with potential that are unwilling to pull the trigger, that are unwilling to face some fear, that are unwilling to in any way challenge themselves, and because of this, they'll never know. My greatest fear, I don't really fear many things, but it's not giving it my all. It's not devoting myself completely. It's holding back. It's not understanding that the only thing that matters is if I live a happy life, is if I live a good life. The only way to live a good life is to be myself, is to be authentic. And if I don't become all that I can be through fear, then the only person I do this disservice to is myself, as well as the whole world, because there is no such thing as the exact circumstances that I've gone through, plus my DNA. I'm unique. I'm the only one in the whole world that can be me. And that's really the shame of it. Like nobody gets to see the person I can become. Nobody gets to see my unique gift because I didn't live up to what I should be.
we need the courage to make bold decisions and venture into the unknown. The second C stands for charity. Being charitable means showing kindness and generosity to others. It's not just about financial giving.
However much you give, you will get in return. I have no evidence to back this up, but the more gracious and the more open you are to giving people things, the more you will receive in return. Whether it's just a warm feeling in your heart, whether it's a new friend, whether it's a great group of people around you, or whether people start giving you stuff in return. It's always important throughout the journey to remember that you were once on your back. You once needed someone to help you up. You once needed a little bit of faith, a little bit of hope, someone willing to reach out their hand and give it back to you, and you need to pass it along. You need to be the spark. You need to be the inspiration. I think if we could get over our own problems and through this we find happiness, we find peace, we find love, and then we can give that happiness, peace, and love back to others. That's really how the world heals. That's really how the world becomes a better place. This is exactly what Gandhi said when he said, "Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the type of person you want to see." It's so simple, yet it's lost on so many people. Because you think of people nowadays, their main goal is to advocate for a political party, advocate for a religion, advocate for this group, advocate for this cause, advocate for all these things. And the truth is, when have you ever been convinced through argument? When have you ever lost a debate or won a debate and actually genuinely won someone to your side? Maybe there's a handful of times in your life, but aside from those rare occasions, the only way to get something done is through inspiration, is through being the example, is through doing something so great that other people around you notice and they want to replicate it. They want to be just like you. They want to have a similar experience. And this is the only way the world becomes a better place. And I need you to understand it's on you. It's on you. Whatever you want to see change in the world, embody that change and you have done your part. That's all you need to do. If you want the world to be more forgiving, if you want the world to be more accepting, if you want the world to be more self-reliant, you must be all of those things yourself, and then other people will follow. Other people will venerate that quality in you and try to embody it in themselves. And that is the greatest gift you can give to everyone.
but also about being kind, giving people the benefit of the doubt, volunteering, and performing acts of service that bring joy to others. Moving on, we have B for
It's not
esteem.
charity for the sake of charity. It's not charity for the sake of brownie points. It's charity because you actually want to do it. It means nothing for a rich man to give $1 million. It means everything for a homeless man to give 1 cent. That's the difference. You do it out of the goodness of your heart. You do it from kindness. You don't do it for any gain. You don't do it for tax breaks or tax cuts.
As we've learned, self-esteem is crucial because it shapes the narrative we tell ourselves. Pay attention to your self-esteem and focus on developing a positive inner story that says, I can do it. Now, on to the next S, which is for self-confidence. Similar to self-esteem,
Dr. Joseph Murphy has a really great idea. Anytime you start saying something negative about yourself, whether it's out loud, whether it's in your own head, never finish the sentence and change it into something positive. So if you're saying something like, I'm so bad, no, I'm great at this, I'm getting better, and I'm going to keep going. Change it. Change it. Because your self-definition, who you believe yourself to be, is who the world sees you as. And if you want to change your world, you must change your self-definition. You must change your I am. You must change who you see yourself to be, and that will change everything about the external world. Everything that you have done, every decision you've made, every bad thing that's happened to you has shaped your current existence because it's influenced all of your decisions. The only way to change, the only way to get out of this scenario is to get out of this old self-definition. Is to get out of this old idea of yourself and create something new. There's a parable in the Bible, and this is very much congruent with this circumstance. They describe, I think it's in Matthew, the heaven is described as the pearl of great price, meaning that you must give up everything that you have to get this pearl. But this pearl means more than anything you can ever have. And this is the idea. You can have that ideal self. You can have that idealized version of yourself, but you have to give everything. You must sacrifice everything for that pearl. But that pearl means more than anything else. You can use this for salvation. You can use this for this idea. You can use this to your own self-improvement. But remember this idea and move forward with this. Like you must give up your conception of yourself. You must give up who you believe yourself to be in order to become something new. You must you must destroy your old self. You must bury that old self to rise up and be reborn. What do you think the crucifixion symbolizes?
self-confidence is about the story we tell ourselves. You don't need a long history of success to be self-confident. It's about recognizing your own power and believing in your ability to succeed. With self-confidence, you can say, yes, I can. Lastly, we have S for self-acceptance. This one is significant because many struggle with it. Self-acceptance allows you to find peace by letting
Self-acceptance is the idea of accepting all of your traits and understanding them. Like I'm a very stubborn person. But with my stubbornness, if I can be won over, I'm won over forever. So I try to open myself up to this idea. I try to be more understanding. I try to listen to more people. And I understand that like I have a tendency to just steamroll people in a conversation. And it's the recognition of this idea that allows me to control this. It's the recognition of this idea that allows me to curtail these things. And it's also one of the roots of my greatest traits. Like I am one of the most loyal people you'll ever meet. If I know you and I really like you and you're one of my friends or one of my family members, like I will be loyal to a fault. And it's just understanding that your worst traits are also your greatest traits. My weirdness is what makes me so creative. Because I never fit in, because I always felt like an outcast, like it made me develop into a unique person. It made me say things differently. It made me think things differently. It made me not care about what other people were trying to do. Like once you accept your individual faults, once you accept the things that you hate about yourself the most, and see the uniqueness, see how this makes you interesting, see how this gives you character development, that's 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 it. Because when you go into the world and you try to do something great, when you go into the world and you try to make money, you try to get accolades, you try to get all these things, what you are doing is looking for self-acceptance. What you are doing is to one day have so many accomplishments that so many people in the world tell you you're good, and then you'll look in the mirror and you'll pat yourself on the back and say, I really did something. But guess what? That day never comes. Nothing in the external world will ever be enough to provide you with the happiness you need to be content. The only thing that can give you this is self-acceptance. Is understanding your flaws, understanding your greats, attributes, understanding everything about yourself and just just dissolving into that idea. It's that simple. I mean it sounds very simple, but it's very hard. It's very hard. But again, it's it.
Go of the pressure to be perfect. Embrace your flaws and recognize that everyone has
That's
them.
basically
It's
Jungian
okay to be yourself.
psychology
By
in a
incorporating these
nutshell
7
too.
practices into your life, you'll be on the path to success. With final thoughts. Imagine your brain as the most incredible supercomputer ever created. It may not work exactly like a digital computer, but we can compare it to one to better understand how it operates. With this understanding, we can make changes to the software of our self-esteem, just like reconfiguring a computer program. By applying the principles of psycho-cybernetics in our daily lives, we have the power to rewrite the stories we tell ourselves, boost our self-esteem, and discover the secret to achieving success. Speaking of success, that's all that this channel will help you do, so please like.
Okay. That was a pretty good video. I know it was AI, but sometimes AI can be bearable. Sometimes it's not as bad as some people speaking, me included, right? Um, so what I want you guys to take away from this is who you define yourself as, the things that you notice about yourself, the things that you point at and get ashamed of when you look in the mirror. Like, learn that these things aren't as important as you think they are. Understand that no one pays attention to you as much as you pay attention to yourself. Thus, nobody judges you as much as you judge yourself. And understanding that judgments come from lack. Judgments are projection. Judgments are really misplaced fear, misplaced expression of emotions. And I want you to start, if you can, being more positive. Wake up. A lot of people, when they wake up, they go right on their phone. What I want you to do is tell yourself you're going to have a great day. Just tell yourself that you're going to do something for yourself today. You're going to do something that's going to make you happy. Tell yourself, I'm great, I'm happy, I'm this, I'm that. Affirmations are a great way to do this. Picture yourself having a great day. Imagine your world to be improving. But overall, whenever something bad happens, I want you to try to see the bright side of things. Every time you see yourself getting down, look at that scenario and say, this is going to be a great story to tell when I finally win. This is going to be a great story to tell when I finally triumph. At the same time, you can also, whenever you're sad, get out a sheet of paper and write down the things that you have that other people would die for. That is simply the best way to become happy because we have no right to be sad. We don't. I don't. I have zero reason to be upset. There are zero things in my life that don't make my life amazing. My life is amazing. I I I have a tremendous girlfriend. My family is so supportive. My extended family is amazing. They every time I write something, I send it to them. They're like, "Wow, this is cool." Like I legit have an environment that if I focus on that and I really look at that, all my other problems just fade away. Everything else will solve itself. I have so many things to be thankful for. I have so many things to be grateful for. Yet I'm here being sad. And the reality is we all have something. You probably have a lot more hair than me. I'm jealous of you. Oh. But I mean I'm being facetious, but at the same time it's so true. There is something you have that other people lack. I have freedom that Elon Musk wishes he has. Elon Musk probably gets woken up all the time because Tesla stock is down, because someone did this on X, because of this, because of this. As Biggie said, more money, more problems. The more success you have in this world, the more responsibilities you have. I have a level of freedom that Bezos wishes he has. I can do whatever I want all day. I don't have anything tying me down. I don't have any responsibility. Like we all have things that we can point to, and we can go on and on and on. But at this point, I just want you to understand that gratitude is the pathway to happiness. When you can be gracious, you can be happy. With that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. I'll catch you in the next one.